Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the channel. This is Brenton with Vortex Detailing, mobile auto detailing business based in Oregon City, Oregon. In today's video, we're going to be restoring the headlights on my 2006 Toyota Matrix. As you can see here, these headlights are absolutely trashed and have probably never been dealt with any time since this car was brand new. So we want to restore these back to original condition, and that should be possible with the following steps. All right, so as you probably noticed, I've opened the hood, and that's simply because on this particular vehicle, and it won't be the same for all vehicles, it would just be much easier to eliminate any risk of damaging the paint on the hood. If I do have to actually wet sand or polish, doesn't matter. First thing I'm going to do is clean the headlight area and the whole area around it here. I'm using a rinseless wash. It's just 2 capfuls of rinseless wash by DIY Detail and 2 gallons of water. So it's 256-to-1 dilution ratio. And this car stays pretty darn clean. The rest of it's already ceramic coated and polished and really clean. So we wash it at least once or twice a week. So I'm not worried about doing any clay bar or anything like that on these headlights. I'm just going to give them a quick wipe down this surface around here, just so I can get the tape to stick on the painted surfaces around. And then when I'm done doing this whole process, I'll go ahead and wash the rest of the car. Okay, I've washed the headlight surface and the surrounding areas. I'm just going to dry it really quick here. Everything's clean. And the first thing that I'm going to do when repairing a headlight like this is I'm going to go with the least aggressive method first. And what would that be? Well, that would just be to use a polish and a machine, or you could do this by hand. It will take quite a bit longer, but you could at least tell if it's going to be possible or not. In this instance, I'm using my rotary with a short extension and a 3-inch pad and a 3-inch microfiber pad. And I'm using CSI polish, Ceram X. This is the same polish I use for everything. I use it to cut and finish. So let's check this out, see if what we're going to do here is going to work. I'm just going to hit this real quick. Just going to use the same rinseless wash here to wipe this off. Let's see if we've made much of a difference. And actually, I'm impressed with the result on that. There's a chance we might not have to wet sand this, and there is a chance you might have to not have to wet sand, yours or the ones you might be working on. So in order to keep my pad clean here, I'm going to just use compressed air. Okay, and I guess I'll just show you my pad cleaning for this particular instance. This is how I'm going to clean my pad. I do have the rinseless wash in this Vortex machine here, and I'm just going to the pad. I'm going to get the thing rolling here. Oops, I didn't have the liquid turned on this. I'm going to turn the liquid on. And just like that, pad is totally refreshed. Okay, let's go ahead and polish the rest of this thing out and see what we come up with. And it doesn't matter what machine you have. If you have a dual action polisher or a rotary, I prefer the rotary. Only the dual action polisher in pretty much every circumstance. There's obviously areas of the detail where you would want to use the DA over the rotary, but a lot of those are even misconceived. But even that is all circumstantial. It's all personal preference. You can do pretty much any job with either machine. And a lot of people think, oh, you can't finish out with a rotary, but that's just not true at all. This car we're working on right now was polished 100% using a rotary only. This machine we're using right now, I was able to polish this whole entire car with just this one machine and 2 pads and 1 polish. You can really see now how this pad's loaded up. Pretty nasty. So we'll clean that again before we run any more passes. It's actually looking like this could do it. This is why we start with the least aggressive method first. Why I go ham on anything when we don't actually need to? Just look at the difference here now. This is the headlight we just did compared to this one over here. That's the before. So we've learned just in this quick video, you're going to see a lot of guys on here making headlight restoration videos. They're going to cut straight to the wet sanding. Oh, we got to start with 1,000 grit and work our way up. I'm going to show you the rest of the process. Try to make it quick. I did have my bag of goodies for the wet sanding, and if I was going to do that, I would block it off. I'd wet sand it. I'd tape it off. I'm going to end up taping it anyways here around the edges and the corners, so I don't destroy anything polishing. Okay, I went and got a smaller machine with a smaller 1-inch microfiber disc. I'm going to get the little corner edge here. Just a drop of polish is all we need. That's actually way too much for this area that we're working with. So I'll spread it out. Try to get some over here. Over here. All right. And again, this is a rotary machine. This particular machine can switch between rotary and dual action, depending on which head you put on it. So that's super nice. It is a flex machine. It's going to look really nice. Got a little bit of polish here. Actually, I'm going to clean my pad. This thing's really loaded up. There's like a really deep run mark here. Some sort of, something got on here and dripped down, and it completely etched itself into the lens. And I want to attack that a little bit more. I might not be able to remove it 100% without sanding, but again, we're not sanding here. We don't need to. We're going to achieve all the clarity and all that we need to restore these headlights back to condition where it improves visibility at night, and it also makes the vehicle look much better. We don't have to chase every imperfection. Some would disagree, I understand, and that's totally fine, and that's your preference. To each his own. For what we're doing and what this car is, nobody would ever know the difference. And yes, that little run mark there is so faint at this point that nobody's ever going to know that it's there besides me. So we're going to go ahead and leave that the way that it is. I'm going to go ahead and clean my pad one more time, hit the back edge, and I'll show you how I'm going to finish down. Okay, folks, I could call this good. I did go over it one more time off camera just to make sure that I cleaned it up good enough, and I know I did because now look at my pad. If you can see it, maybe you can't, but there's no more oxidation left in this pad. This is 100% clean. This is 100% restored. Did not have to take any sandpaper to it. It looks absolutely brilliant. It's going to show you, for those who would like to see how to get more clarity and more gloss out of this. And that is to just change your pad. Go to a foam pad, soft pad. This is a really thick pad, so that also decreases cut, increases gloss. So this is just, going to continue to use the same machine. Like I said, use whatever machine you can. Same rules apply to increase your clarity, to achieve glossier perfection. you need to diminish your abrasives. You need to decrease your abrasive. So that means less polish, different polish, or a different pad, a much softer pad, or a combination of both. So this is where the art of paint correction and using a machine like this comes into play. It really does become kind of a Bob Ross painting, and it's something that you can perfect and get really, really good at, or you can neglect and stay mediocre at. Hardly any polish. Again, no pressure on the machine, just lightly going over what I've done. If there is any swirls or any imperfections in there that I have caused or created with the microfiber pad, this is going to remove that. This is looking so good. You'll notice, hopefully, that I'm trying to keep the pad as flat as possible when I'm finishing. It's looking really good. I'll probably go over it one more time because I still see just a little bit of some swirl in here, just very, very vaguely. I'll hit it one more time with this, and it should be good to go. It's looking fantastic. And if you're a detailer, this is one of those services. If you see a car, this is one of those add-ons you really just can't afford to forget, because a lot of times the client, you tell them you can restore their headlights, they're going to say yes almost every time. So it's an easy add-on to any detail, assuming it's an older car with oxidized headlights. Now there's a little bit of a glare. That's a totally different headlight all of a sudden. Before, after. All right, folks, got that headlight done, got that headlight done. Now it's time for the fun part, to seal it all in. Now there's several ways to do this. You can spray clear coat on these. You can put plastic protective film over these, or you can ceramic coat them. And right now, that's what I'm going to do. It's what I have on deck for product. So I'm just going to use a little applicator pad, little suede applicator pad. You can use whatever you want for an applicator pad. You got to make sure you wear gloves. I will link all the products that I've used in the video down below, except for the ceramic coating. I'll have to link a different ceramic coating because this is System X. It is certified professional use only, so you would have to be a certified installer to get access to this product. So I'm going to be using System X Crystal, my 3-year ceramic coating, to seal in these headlights. Okay guys, the number one most important step before installing any ceramic coating is to prep the surface properly first. Of course, that requires a whole list of things, but the final step of prep always comes down to using an actual panel prep, whether that's an IPA solution, rubbing alcohol and water, or whether it's an actual designated panel prep that you would use to prep the surface before installing any sort of coating. It's extremely important to just make sure you remove any final residues, oils, greases, what have you, and that the coating, it will ensure that the coating adheres to the surface properly. All right, I have my removal towel. Typically, you'd use 2 towels for this, but since it's such a small area and a small surface, 1 towel will be sufficient. I'm going to take my ceramic coating. I'm going to apply it to the suede applicator, and I'm going to massage it into the surface. You can use crosshatch or circular pattern. I personally kind of like using the circular pattern more than the crosshatch pattern. It does seem to give a more even distribution of the product, and you can install it a little bit quicker, it seems. But that's all personal preference, and it doesn't matter. As long as your applicator pad is clean, it doesn't matter what direction you move. You're not going to cause any swirls or scratches or anything like that. Of course, the applicator pad and the surface you're working, right? So that coating is on there. Of course, you can't see it, it's transparent. I can barely see it to flash. It's probably already flashed. Might already be totally dried up. I'll probably just go ahead and put on one more layer here. It wasn't very much. Ceramic coatings have a flash time. Every one of them is going to be different. The flash time for this particular coating is 30 to 45 seconds, but it also depends on weather, you know, temperature, humidity, all those fun factors. Wind. In this instance, I have a fairly strong wind gust coming at me here, which will make the flash time quicker. All right. You have to wear gloves when applying any sort of ceramic coating. This stuff is really, really hard on you. You do not want it to get into your skin. You really don't want to breathe it in either. So if you're not in a well-ventilated area, make sure that you have a respirator on. All right, and it's as simple as that. That one's done. It's as simple as that. I'll go over it one more time like I did the other one. Not necessary. These are one application coatings, but I just want to make sure that I got everything covered. And going over it twice back to back like this isn't going to necessarily increase the duration or the longevity of the coating or make it any stronger or anything like that. It's just going to ensure that I have covered everything. Just want to make sure, because it is hard to see. All right. So I do want to try to show you guys the imperfections still on this. There's what might appear to be like some sort of lens flare, and this is common. And the reason for that is that we did not actually sand down all the imperfections. And the reason I didn't do that is because we really didn't need to do that. This is my personal vehicle. I'm not super worried about that detail, that visual detail all the way up when I know that my car has rock chips all over the hood, you know, and it's a 2006 Toyota Matrix and it's far from perfect. And honestly, nobody besides me is going to notice these details this close. Nobody's going to sit there and stare at the headlight and go, oh man, that guy really effed his car up. Now, does it hurt if somebody does notice that my car says Vortex detailing all over it? Probably, but I'm not worried about it. You probably can't even see it in the camera. Of course, camera doesn't do justice, but there is definitely some imperfections in that lens. And likewise with this one. On this one, there's a big stripe that runs from here all the way down. Maybe you can see it. And there was something else down here. I don't remember exactly where, but there's a couple things. There's actually even some bug etchings still left over here somewhere. Like right here, there's a bug etching. I'm not chasing perfection. If I was, we would have sanded this, right? We would have wet sanded this 800 grit, 1000 grit, 1500, whatever. And then we would have polished it out. But I just wanted to show you guys this method of polishing headlights. Well, it's not always, you know, going to be your case. Sometimes you're definitely going to have to sand it down, right? Depends on what you're working on. It depends on all sorts of things. So with all that said, you guys, this thing's looking a lot better with the headlights polished up on it. Now it needs a wash. It's got all the dirt on it. As you can tell, it's definitely ceramic coated. If you here, I'll give you a little walk around so you can see. Well, this is how the dirt lays down on it, right? So we're ready to wash this puppy. I'm gonna save that for another video, but definitely have a wash method that I really enjoy using to wash this car, and it only takes me just a couple minutes. Look at that from that view. See all that dirt? There's bird poop right there. So it's filthy. And I'm going to use a rinseless wash method on this, just like I do with most things. Look at the gloss on this thing. It's dirty. And again, I polished this with a rotary only. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to making more. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at vortex_detailing for more updated content, more frequent content, like for live detailing content on the job site, because I am mobile. Anyways, guys, God bless you. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good one.